A woman claims a police officer threatened to arrest her on made-up charges. Then she says he did it.
Maybe you've heard a similar crazy allegation, but in this case, there were dozens of witnesses. Chris Hayes investigates in tonight's Fox Files.
Night court in Maplewood. Like a lot of cities, it's a busy time with large crowds that gather outside the courtroom. Check out surveillance video of the night in question. Catherine Bleish was there with her boyfriend who had a traffic court date. She said she didn't like the aggressive way an officer was handling the crowd, so she made a comment.
I turned to the girl next to me and I said, "Get in line, show us your papers, and give us your money. Welcome to the new America." And he heard me.
At least 10 people are standing between Officer Jerry Dowell and Bleish at this point. So she said he told her to repeat it, and she did, right here.
And then walked toward me asking if I wanted to go to jail.
Then what did he say?
Well, after I started asking, to jail for what? What have I done? He said, "I'll make something up." And I said, "Did you seriously just say that?"
She didn't back down. Catherine Bleish is not one to hide her opinions or her passion. A tattoo on her forearm says "question everything," and she's active in Missouri politics, planning to run for Missouri State Rep. You can see her as she tells the officer that she has a right to be here. Then she asks her friend Josh Carter to take down names of people who heard the threat of a false arrest. All of them remember hearing the same thing. Dan Ellis.
What? Yeah, that's about the whole way the entire crowd reacted. You'll make something up?
Portia Moore.
And she was like, "Locking me up for what?" She's like, "I'm not doing nothing but expressing my freedom of speech. Locking me up for what?" And he said, "Well, hell, I'll make something up."
Kimberly Smith.
I couldn't believe that they had enough gall to say in front of witnesses that they would make up a charge. You have
no doubts about what he said.
Oh, no, I know exactly what he said. I was stunned.
The same story from everyone we interviewed. And they did not think she was inciting the crowd. In fact, multiple witnesses, including Portia Moore, say it was the officer who ramped the tensions by saying,
"If you have a choke chain for her, then you need to put it on her and pull it tight."
It was after that when the officer approached her and told her to leave. Here she is standing alone, determined to stay.
She's still asking him, why? Why do I have to leave? On what grounds?
Her friend Josh Carter said the officer ordered her to leave within 2 minutes.
It seemed like exactly 2 minutes, almost like he went back inside, watched his watch for 2 minutes, and then came back out with two other officers.
They take her away. She spends the night in jail. Then Bleish calls the witnesses and files a complaint with the Maplewood Police Department. Internal Affairs went to work. But as weeks went by, Bleish feared her life was changed forever. She had a court date to answer to a charge of failure to comply.
Going to jail for 30 days, first of all, would be a traumatizing experience, but then having to have that in my past for the rest of my life when I'm only 25 years old.
But after a 5-week investigation, Maplewood Police Chief Stephen Cruz sent her this letter saying he took action.
We have to be held accountable.
Cruz said Officer Jerry Dowell violated department policy and was reprimanded.
He'd just gotten out of the police academy in June, and I think it's a valuable teaching lesson for him. I think that he acted out of frustration after having dialogue with a complainant. He made some inappropriate comments that that were really not his intent.
Chief Cruz said internal investigations are important, as is the public's trust. Bleish said that's why she pushed so hard that night. She believed it was worth standing up for what she says was a battle over freedom of speech. The resulting charge against her, it's now dropped.
I had a ticker tape parade going off in my world. I was so happy. I was literally dancing in the lobby in Maplewood.
She says she's fortunate she was surrounded by people who listened and were not afraid to speak up.
I really want to say thank you, and I think it's important that in our community that we're standing up for each other, and you did that. You've gone on a limb for me, and I hope I've proven that I'm innocent.
Chief Cruz says he can't say how he punished Officer Dowell because it's a private personnel issue. He wants people to know they will investigate themselves, and he's comfortable enough after reprimanding his officer to put him back on the rotation for night court detail. With the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.